Well, welcome back to Epic Cars, and we're going to continue our series on making the grandpa van cool. That is my goal, is to try to make conversion vans cool again. And there's a lot of guys out there on the internet that are kind of doing van projects these days. Weld Tech Designs, those kind of places are doing a lot of really cool stuff. In fact, Hoonigan even did a van, and I know his name's not Hoonigan, but whoever the guy is that does Hoonigan, just did a lifted, I think it's a 6.0 diesel four-wheel drive van that he had converted. So a lot of people are kind of getting into the van craze, and guys, I'm right there with you. I think it's awesome. As if you go back and look at my last video I did on this, kind of introducing this vehicle. This is a 1999 GMC 2500 HD conversion van. And the conversion was done by Explorer. I love it. I mean, it's been my daily driver now for about 3 weeks. I'm really kind of getting into the van thing, and my goal on this entire series is to take kind of a grandpa van and turn it into something that's halfway cool. I don't know if you can make it cool, but you can sure make it halfway cool. And the first step is we're going to delete the kind of the fiberglass running boards and little ground effects stuff, and then we are going to be adding a lift kit, so stay tuned. So again, here's a kind of a look. I don't need this step right there because I've got a step right there. It's not that much further up to get to that, and actually I find this step kind of cumbersome. It's not really wide enough, and I end up kind of putting 1 foot there and 1 foot there, and then I almost fall out, and it's kind of cumbersome. So I'll be deleting all of this lower part of this kind of, I don't know, I'm going to call it a ground effects package, but this is all one piece, so it kind of goes all the way from there all the way up to the front. So I'm going to take that off, mainly because I think it's going to look cooler. Secondly, it's got some damage to it right there already, and I don't like that step. I just think it's awkward. And third, really for the front end, whenever I do this lift, I'm going to need as much space as I can get for a bigger tire. So those are 245s on there right now, 245 16s. And my goal is to go to a 285 16. You can see right there, I mean, I barely have 2 fingers width between that and the tire. So even if I lift it, that's not really going to correct that problem. And you can tell that, you know, I've got probably another 2 or 3 inches of that once I take this whole piece off, along with that piece along the bottom. I'll have a lot more area to put a bigger tire. Now, what am I putting on? Well, I'm putting on this kit from Boulder Off-Road in Colorado. They sent me, basically these are little spacer cups that go on the springs up front. And then I did go ahead and shell out the bigger money for the Bilstein shocks. I could have easily just bought the spring cups and then the back kit, which is the blocks and the new U-bolts, and it would have been significantly cheaper. I think probably in the $600 range cheaper. I have no idea how old the shocks are that are on this existing van, but it being in 1999, I mean, they could be 24 years old. I have no idea. So when I'm in there doing the lift kit, putting the spring plates on, or the cups, and then adding the blocks and everything to the back, I might as well go ahead and upgrade the shocks. And you can't go wrong with Bilsteins. They're awesome. So this kit is supposedly, it's for a 1996 through 2002 Chevy GMC two-wheel drive full-size van kit, 2-inch lift. They do have different lifts, but because this is a 3/4 ton van versus a half-ton van, they don't have the spindles, the drop spindles and things like that allow you to get a little bit more lift. One of the things I was really impressed with was they included the U-bolts, and man, they're heavy duty. So they definitely give you good components with Bilstein shocks, nice big U-bolts, and the spring cups up front. I think this should be a fairly easy project. I mean, I'm guesstimating right now that it's probably going to take Chandler and I don't know, probably 30 minutes a wheel, if that. So a couple hours, and we've got a little bit more attitude. Again, BoulderOffRoadVans.com is the kit I'm using, and according to the instructions, pretty straightforward. this PVC pipe, kind of installed with this plumber's hanger, and I just don't know what it's for. He had mentioned at one time that maybe the previous guy had put in like a sink or something inside, and so that's kind of what I'm thinking this is. Maybe fresh water is in that small one and wastewater's in this long one, because it's got a little spigot on the end here. I know it's pretty close up, it's kind of hard to see, so I can't really tell how it's hooked up though, so we're gonna have to dig into this, but that's kind of interesting. Alright, so I'm tagging out. I'm going to tag in Chandler on the rest of this deal. I did get my hands dirty today, and that's one of the best things about my life is every day there's something different I get to work on, get my hands dirty, get into it. I did kind of the easy part. I just took off the running boards and kind of got basically the parts and everything all set out here. We are going to go ahead and upgrade the ball joints while we're in there, taking everything apart. We've got to disconnect those anyway, so we might as well put new ones in while we're in there. I did on the brakes. It's kind of cool. There's already slotted rotors on this, so somebody did a brake upgrade at one point in time. There is a little bit of surging though still, so I was going to put all new power stop brakes and pads all the way around, rotors and pads, but it looks like they've already done that, so I'll have to check the back, but probably just needs new pads, and then the rotors need to be turned. But underneath this van is really, there's like a bunch of little stuff like the water containment system, and I'm just going to have to kind of figure that out. And then they wrap the headers with some header cloth to kind of keep the temperature down. There's an oil cooler mounted to the frame, some sort of, I don't know if it's a transmission oil, I don't know what it is, but it's really long and it's got fins on it, so I'm going to have to kind of check that out. So you can tell that either A, Explorer did that from the factory when they did the conversion. I don't think they did. This is probably something somebody aftermarket did. And with the mileage of this van and how well the condition is, I suspect whoever had this van did some upgrades to it over the years, and so it's kind of cool discovering all that. But I'm tapping out. I got to go inside and do taxes. Yeah, it's literally the worst time of year for me. I've got about 7 companies. Most of you guys do your taxes in March and April. Well, I always have to file an extension each year because I always have to wait for K1s and stuff to come in from other companies, documentation from other companies before I can do mine. And I'm a procrastinator when it comes to doing accounting work. I can do it. I can do it with the best of them. I just don't like it. And so I wait until kind of the last month to basically do the entire year's worth of accounting for 7 different companies. It's mind-numbing. It's stupid. It's my fault. I'm not complaining because I'm to blame for it, but I'm kind of complaining. Today is the last day that I have to get my last company done. I've got all the other ones done. Got to get it down to the CPA tomorrow because they've got to have time to be able to do it in order to get it in on time. So I'm going to run inside and work for the IRS for a little bit because I'm sure they're going to take a lot of my money. But Chandler's going to finish up and we'll do a little before and after kind of situation. And I'm kind of excited about this too because I'm kind of in the same role that you are in the fact that I'm not actually doing the work. So whenever I come out from the death of doing taxes, I'm going to see a lifted van, maybe on 285s because I've got a set. And we'll see what the finished product looks like. So me and you are in this together. Well, what am I doing on the ground? Because looking at this van from this angle is magnificent. And I'm trying to kind of create some drama in the fact that it looks awesome now with the lift and tires. So are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go. So guys, I can't begin to tell you how excited I am about this transformation. I know it probably doesn't look as good on camera as it does in person, but guys, this is amazing. It turned a grandpa conversion van into something that's actually cool. I mean, look at this. And what was even more cool is I was able to fit the 285 tires that I didn't think would fit. In fact, the manufacturer of the lift said that the most you could fit under that lift was a 265 75. Well, I stuffed 285s underneath there and barely had to do any trimming at all. Just a tad bit here and there. I had to do a little bit of trimming right there. And then this piece of this inner wheel well, I had to kind of beat in a little bit. But I mean, that was barely anything. And I was able to put these big old hogs underneath it. Now, the only sad part is I had to rob those wheels and tires off of that truck. So if those wheels and tires look familiar, it's because they came off of Old Blue here. But what's crazy is the exact same wheels were on each vehicle, and so they fit. Lug pattern was the same, so it's making my little Old Blue look a little wimpy, but they're great tires. I'm getting ready to sell Old Blue anyways, and so they're still going to be, they still look good, don't get me wrong, but having the 285s instead of the 245s make a difference. But I'm keeping the van, so I'd much rather have the 285s on the van. But look at that, guys. That is an amazing transformation. It sure seems like it was a kind of marketed as a 2.5 inch lift, and it sure seems more than that to me. I didn't take measurements of the wheel wells before. Now, I will say that, you know, every lift varies and so forth, and those were probably 2-inch blocks, you know, that they gave us. So maybe I'm just, you know, making this up in my head that it's a little bigger. It looks bigger to me, but to be able to fit the 285s and have that look, guys, it's just amazing. I'm so happy with the result. So you have to tell me, are we making some headway here, turning Grandpa van into something that's cool? It's turning into cool Grandpa. I just drove it to an event with a family member, and I had everybody looking at it, and they all gave me thumbs up. We're on the right track. We got a little ways to go, but stay tuned. I got more episodes coming up, and we're going to continue to kind of upgrade and upgrade and upgrade. I will also tell you that putting the lift on was a little bit more difficult than I anticipated, but we learned a secret throughout the process. And so if anybody out there needs a lift put on their van, we've got it down pat now. We know how to do this. I think that's it, guys. I can't get over it. I can't get over how cool it looks. So, crack is whack, God is good, and everybody needs a little epic car in their life. And right now, I'm calling it an epic van. God bless. Take care, guys.